Okay. Nice. But then you take another step card back. What the heck? Alright. The underlying energy is the Knight of Wands. Underneath that is the Three of Wands. Oh boy. So this has a lot to do with your passions. Okay? I feel like the Knight of Wands is, I always read the Knight of Wands as the Bachelor, Bachelorette card. You know, someone that's not going to, like, pretty much settle down. You know, not a player per se, but they just live in the moment, right? They're not bound to anybody, anything. They just live their life the way they want to live it. Now, it makes sense with how the reading is kind of looking like, because somebody's definitely got some commitment stuff going on here. The commitment issues. Because the Hierophant is the card for commitment. Same with the Ten of Pentacles. Now, I don't think it's you. It could be someone else, because we have the Knight of Cups there, and the Knight of Cups usually indicates someone that you may know from the past, or someone that may have come back in to offer you some sort of love, and you may not really want to commit to them. Now, you could be currently in a committed relationship for some of you guys out there, but this to me looks like you're not in a committed relationship, and this person that you already know maybe wants to come back in inconsistent with what they want, and that makes you kind of like, skeptical. Okay, now of course there's no Seven of Cups here. There's no kind of cards in here that indicate skepticism, but it's very interesting. This Knight of Cups is someone that's perhaps it could be a friend that you already know. It could be somebody that you know that is a lover, an old lover, or whatever. This could be your ideal lover, right? Someone that you love. This could also indicate that you want to commit to a certain dream, right? You could be wanting to commit to a certain dream, a certain outcome, or a certain heart desire, maybe. Right? What do you want? Right? Has to do with what you want. It could be that you know is about committing to your desires, to your wants, because the Hierophant, like I said, does indicate someone that not someone. It does indicate commitment. It does indicate structure. It does indicate routines, traditions. Now, the Knight of Cups can indicate as well, since we do have a knight here, it can indicate, and the Hierophant too can indicate this too, that there's some sort of differences between you and the person, right? There's some things that may be out of your traditional realm, or out of your normal thing that you do, whatever your structures, your policies are, your rules. And it may be that this person may be younger, because we do have the Knight of Cups here, okay? And that may be the thing. I think this person may be really sweet, really romantic, and very charming, but they may have an age difference that may be kind of making you go like, I don't know about this. And it could be that you guys could 100% be following your heart here too. You got two fast cards here. Now the Knight of Cups is probably it's the second the slowest one. Knight of Pentacles being the slowest, and then you have the Knight of Wands, which is to me, and I know it's read typically as the fastest knight. I feel like the Knight of Wands is the second to fastest knight, and I feel like those two together here in this reading have definitely got something going on here. Unreliability and inconsistency. Like that's the big kind of kicker there with the two, because they can both be very inconsistent sometimes. Well, he could be inconsistent sometimes. The Knight of Cups. Now, this doesn't have to be a he or a she. It could be, doesn't have to be either one, right? It's not gender specific. I usually refer to the knights as he's, but it's up to you, because this could be a female, it could be a male. It's really up to you. But this person, the Knight of Cups, he's typically inconsistent, because he follows and focuses on how he feels. And as you know, emotions are fluid. They are not consistent. They are not the same all the time. So, and they don't flow in the same way. They just, they may flow very similar, but they're not the same. So it changes constantly. So he may say something and do something, and he mean it in the moment, but it'll change probably tomorrow if he's hurt, upset, angry, whatever, right? So it's inconsistent. And I think the thing that's kind of what's bugging you guys the most, I feel, is that you guys are kind of the Hierophant right now, right? The challenge right now is to keep becoming consistent. Now, for some of you guys, you may be dealing with someone that's very inconsistent, and that can prove to make this person very unreliable in your eyes. This can be another thing too. You guys may be wanting structure, wanting more something grounded, something that's consistent, but you are changing your mind frequently. Now, that's not a bad thing, right? There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. But I feel like that kind of is giving you the feeling of not being reliable and not being very consistent, because you constantly are changing your mind. We're Cancer North Node. If some of this is resonating with you guys, it's understandable. You're going to go through this for 18 months, right? Because we're in Cancer North Node. we're gonna be in our emotions. But I feel like for some of us, this is about the changing of someone's mind, the changing of how someone feels in a heartbeat, and not really having that kind of grounded or stable. Now in the past, you have the Knight of, excuse me, I know this is another knight, but technically this is the Six of Wands. Now the Six of Wands coming up here, I think there's definitely a lot of pride here. Like someone is really proud of the efforts that they would put in. There was a victory here. Someone felt very victorious in the past. And I feel like the efforts that they were putting in, they were not only recognized, but they really were headed in the direction in which the person that was doing the work really felt really proud of, right? This is very, very victorious and all that. It's really good. I like that there. And in the present, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is awesome, and it came by fast. I really think it kind of did. It really came by really fast, which is very interesting. I feel like somebody may have extended an offer of love, and that's when the commitment came, right? Talks about commitment, stability in a relationship, stability, support, and security. But that's the thing. This person came in and offered that, happened really fast, and all of a sudden now it's kind of it feels inconsistent because where you guys go next is the Four of Pentacles. How interesting is that? The Six of Pentacles, we drop 6 Pentacles and go back to the 4. 6 of Pentacles is the card of imbalance. Well, it's not the card of imbalance. It's a balancing. It's a give or take kind of card. It's a card of. It's very similar to justice, right? You have a scale. It's give or take. It talks about balancing things, and I feel like the situation is completely imbalanced somehow. Something gets out of whack, right? Or something currently is what's causing the thing to be imbalanced, because somebody may be giving more and not receiving, or somebody may be receiving all and not giving, right? There's some sort of inconsistency here, and that's why the Knight of Cups is crossing this right here. Even though it's a great happily ever after thing here, Ten of Cups is a great card to have. You're in a stable position. You're really feeling good about where you are in your love life and all that. It's good, right? Because you've come a long way. You really feel proud about the steps you've taken to get here. But something happens between this and there. Something inconsistent happens, right? There's some sort of imbalance. And it may have to do with what someone says or how someone feels in that moment. It's almost like I feel like somebody knows that somebody's emotions are kind of all over the place. They're not consistent. They're not very stable. And that's the thing that kind of makes it hard, I feel like. I think some of the things, too, is that the reason why the Knight of Cups is also very inconsistent is because he doesn't want to be consistent, right? Everything's a choice, right? So I feel like the reason why this person doesn't want to be consistent is because they like the flowness of their emotions. They like their emotions to flow, but that is no way to do it, right? I think it's like they feel something powerfully in the moment, and then they feel something else very powerfully the next, and it can kind of cause a bit of confusion. Now, it's interesting though that this Ten of Pentacles happened so fast. You have the Knight, the Eight of Wands there. Things are happening very fast, and everything was super clear. There was no mistake, no misinterpretation here. The wands do not obstruct themselves, so if this was communication, it was very clear and straightforward, no confusion whatsoever. And the thing is, too, it could be, and not to be, just bear with me here for a second, it could be you that may be the inconsistent one, because this is someone that you may have had a relationship with before, and perhaps you're not sure about them. You may be feeling something in the moment, and it just may not be truly something you're really secure about, because you retract. Somebody retracts here. Somebody goes back and kind of clings on to something with their life, or holding on to some sort of stability. They completely lose 6 Pentacles and go back to the 4. And then you progressively lose the 3. You go back to 3, which you lose 1. Right? So you're starting a new beginning and figuring out what it is that you are wanting, or what not necessarily figure out what you want, but trying to figure out what your future will look like and planning for that future together. To see if there's a future at all. I think there's just a lot of feelings that got caught up here, and I feel like those emotions are truly genuine. None of this is like a lie or anything like that, because I don't believe the Knight of Cups is a liar. He doesn't lie. He's feeling how he feels in the moment. And that may be you, right? You may have been solid and ready to go 1 minute, but then at the same time, you realize, I don't know if I truly, really want to do this, right? It's that whole thing. And I feel like it may be really nice and dandy right now. And I don't know if you truly trust that your emotions are consistent or right here, but you have to kind of be honest with yourself. That's why the Page of Swords comes up. Okay, very interesting reading coming up, guys. It's almost like as if like everything just happened so fast. You got caught up in the emotions. It's really romantic and honeymoony, but then I think some stuff kind of. I think the perpetual situation is that something may get a little rough. Someone may just kind of retract and go inward. You know, I think that's kind of the situation. Somebody retracts and goes back in, and the Page of Swords is your advice. It's saying clarity, clarity in your communication, clarity in your thoughts. I don't think it's spying. I don't think it's doing any sort of information seeking stuff that's, kind of underhanded. But I do feel like the biggest thing you need to be right now is honest with yourself and honest with the relationship and, express what your intentions are, what your desires are, what your dreams are. Because you may have committed to something based off of how you felt, which is totally acceptable and fine. But I think that there's more to what you want, I think, maybe. Maybe there's something more than what you want, or maybe there's some sort of clarity that you may need to have regarding this situation that will help you kind of adjust. I don't think it's to say to backtrack. I mean, some of you guys, if you guys are like, okay, this was really sweet and romantic, and now you don't really want to deal with this, totally, just back out. If it's not you, it's not you. Knight of Wands wouldn't be in a situation where he's not happy, even if he did commit to it. That's why the Knight of Wands is so unreliable, because he'll be like, yeah, I know I signed that contract, I know I agreed to this, still leaving. I don't want this, And if you don't want this anymore, if your mind has changed, but you commit to it, you're not bound to it, right? That's why the Hierophant is the 5. Fives in the tarot are fives. Period are changes. So to have the Hierophant as the number 5, which the Hierophant means traditions, structure and all that. If this is what it's all about here. Like, let's be honest. It's meant to change. Something's meant to change within the Hierophant. And you're allowed to, which is why it looks like somebody commits 100% and then backtracks. And like it reevaluates everything. Reevaluates if this is something worth their time, something that they really see the value of, is something that they find valuable. And if it isn't, they have to go back to the drawing board. Right? And that's okay. It happens all the time. But you got to be honest with yourself. That's the only way you're going to be able to get through this. Because the Knight of Swords, the thing that makes the Knight of Swords awesome is that, yeah, he'll be in your face and say, yeah, I commit to it and I'm not feeling it anymore. And he'll be honest with himself that he isn't feeling it and keep moving. And honest with you. So I don't think this is anybody doing this to you. I feel like this is something that you're feeling right now within the relationship that you're in, or within a situation or dream job, whatever, right? Whatever situation you're in, you're having second thoughts. But I think for some of you guys, you may be dealing with somebody that's like this. And even so, this is something that really kind of get you thinking, get your juices flowing, and figuring out what it is that you truly want. Not necessarily a person, but what you want out of a relationship. That way you can truly feel happy. And that's why I feel like with the outcome being the 3 of Pentacles, yeah, you start to really think things a little differently, see what the future has to hold, what you want the future to look like, putting the pieces together with or without the person. But it's up to you guys. It really is. Wow. Everybody's got some really interesting readings this time around. See what your romance angels is saying for the next couple weeks. Get to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. And I think that's the biggest thing. Maybe some things you just need to be relearned. Maybe understanding where each other is coming from. That's probably what's going to be really beneficial for the both of you, and not just for the other person, but for you, right? Because you're like, if this is like, it's sweet and all romantic, and he can say all the right things, but is it something you really want to pursue? That's something you got to decide and really take some time to understand, because it's not going to happen overnight, like the 8 of Wands can sometimes indicate. Spiritual connection. But here's the good thing about this, though. The spiritual connection card coming up is saying this relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. And I do believe that you do feel something. That's why I was saying this person or you was not lying about how you guys felt. When he changes his mind, it's not a lie. This is how somebody truly, genuinely feels. But it is up to you guys to explore the connection, to see how much of this feeling is truly resonates with you, and not just not a hormonal thing, or nothing that nothing that you can truly think of and say, that was not, if it was just if it was overdone. And I feel like there is something there. There is something connecting the both of you. There's something that's definitely tying you both together. Whether this is a Sag, Pisces, or an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or a Cancer, a Scorpio. There's something that's definitely connecting you both. Definitely, right? And you can only vouch for that. Some of you guys may be like, hell no, I don't feel actually anything. And it's like, okay, that's you, right? You don't feel nothing. But I feel like right here, what it's saying is that you don't have to, you don't have to put it all the way down because of some sort of change of heart. If you need time to understand and get to know this individual, definitely take that time. But, it's not just a fluke or a romantic little situation that happened and nothing's real, and so you get bamboozled, right? Just be careful. The whole reason why they have to get to know, you have the card coming up that says get to know each other, is to make sure that this relationship or this spiritual connection is legitimate for you. If you truly honestly feel something and not get swept away with the words and not get swept away with the romance and how you guys connect, because the passion is definitely there. But in order to know if the spiritual connection is truly genuine, and if it really resonates with your heart and everything, you have to get to know each other.